Hey guys, welcome back to yet another YouTube video. Right here I've got for you the all-new Ford Tourneo, and I've been trying my best to say that word right. Obviously, as we know, pronunciation is a bit hectic. So what we have here is the updated, well, the all-new Ford Tourneo essentially. And I think if you guys have seen the Tourneo Transit, which is the panel van of this that we launched on my social media platforms, you would have seen that this shares still the same design cues as that. I'm in the Western Cape and we are launching this, and I think that Ford has put in a lot of work, and obviously going up the likes of the Opel Zafira, the Volkswagen Kombi, the Vitos, etc. It's got nothing to do with the V-Class, and I just want you to know that please don't go in the comments saying you'd rather get a V-Class, etc., because this is nothing to compare with the V-Class. This is just a people mover that competes with the likes of, like I mentioned, the VW Kombi, the Opel Zafira, as well as the Vito. So at the front, they've given it new daytime running lights at the top there. And this grille, obviously, which you've also seen, some really nice cues at the bottom there, which I think looks cool. It just looks much beefier as well, as opposed to the outgoing one, especially that sign that's going across by the air vents. Essentially, you've got some parking sensors on the front bumper as well, and I think that it just looks cool. This is the middle range and not the range topper, so I do see that maybe they can incorporate a maybe a light bar on there, and I think that would look cool, maybe on the top of the range model. This is the middle spec, and I do think it looks good. You've got cruise control on here, you've got the parking sensors down below there. If you come across the side, you've got these 16-inch alloys, which for me, I do think they lack character. And I think should you give them bigger wheels, maybe 18 or 19s, I think it's going to gain a lot of character. You then get this big wing mirror on here, and it's got an indicator lamp integrated in it, and it's quite big that obviously you do get some wind noise, and some aerodynamics are obviously affected. The doors are massive, guys, and I'm just going to open. Sorry, I've got nobody to help me. Sosa is not here today, but so I'm just going to be doing this review exactly like this first launch impression, so you can just see how big that door is. It's quite massive, and obviously it's going to impact you when you're parking or when you have to get inside. So this is essentially the side, and then you've got another door here which slides. And I'm also sorry that the car is a bit dirty, but you've got another door here that slides open, revealing that entire cabinway. There are essentially, 6 seats in the rear and then 2 seats in the front. It accommodates 8 people in the entire car. I'm going to show you the interior and then I'll show you the rear. But I do think that Ford has put in an immense amount of work into this people mover. It does look good with the massive windows here at the rear as well, which are essentially, it looks good with the entire, silhouette just looks really good. But you've got some roof racks at the top as well there, foldable roof racks where if you want to mount whatever you want to mount. It's essentially just made for, being practical. It's a practical people mover, and that's one thing I like about it. The boot space is quite massive too, and yeah. So as we come to the rear, you've got then these really cool LED tail lamps which have been put here, and I think that they've worked extremely hard, man, at the rear. It looks really good, and as opposed to the outgoing model, I think they have worked extremely hard. So the one thing I would have also appreciated at the rear is that maybe this glass could also open, like a lot of people movers, so that you don't have to always access the entire, space opening up wide like that. I just wish it could open somehow on that, that end window. And I think that would make so much help in terms of getting stuff in the trunk. Because when it always opens, entire wide, it's going to be affecting you in terms of, in tight parking spaces, and yeah, you're definitely going to scratch something because that opens really wide, and I'll show you now. So yeah, boot space is adequate, and yeah. So guys, like I mentioned, the boot space is adequate, and as you can see, we're traveling as 6 people in this car. This is all our luggage, and it is very, very adequate. And I do think that that's one thing that they've worked on. Why I say this is one of the most practical people movers that we currently have on the market right now. There's no pricing yet, But yeah, that's why I'm saying that would be an issue in terms of opening. So if they could just make that open slightly or better, I think that would be much better. But right now, boot space, it does get in terms of opening it, when you're in tight parking areas, etc., it does get impacted. I know most people who just open the doors and put the stuff in the doors, but if it so happens that you're in a tight parking area, it's going to impact you. But yeah, when it comes to the interior of the Ford Tourneo, right, and I did mention that this is the middle range Tourneo, and maybe let me just start in the front. Now, at the front here, you've got an infotainment now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly, and we've seen this in the Ford Tourneo Transit. You've got some touch-sensitive buttons on there, and these front seats are heated, which is quite cool. You've got tons of space all over here, and obviously your cup holders over here. You've got your wireless charger over here. Multiple charging ports in this car. You've got 2, 4, 6, 8 ports in charging. USB-Cs and one type A here at the front as well. This steering wheel, which I'm not sure if it's like a wheel really, because it's like got these shapes on it, which is quite cool. I think it looks good. You've got a digital driver's display over there, with various information, and we've seen that in all Ford products really. So sitting in the front here, and you guys will notice obviously there isn't any gear shift selector here, and that's because they have put it onto the steering wheel column, so in true Mercedes-Benz fashion. And this does look like a Mercedes-Benz gear shift knob actually, if I think about it, the older Mercedes-Benz, and you'll obviously see the puck right on there. So that's where they've put it, and just that obviously made sure that there's a lot of room, especially here and for everybody else in the cabin as well. That just translated that. So I mean, just look, cup holders here, geez, some space here, and your your start stop button is on here within the infotainment, just making it look really neat. And cup holders over here obviously for both, and you know, just a lot of space, guys. Like, I don't think there's anything that they haven't thought up. You got massive sun visors as well, which are quite cool. I can't even complain, man. This is a really good interior to be. And if you're a practical soccer mom or soccer dad and you've got things to go, people to move, your stuff to move, I think this will make a great car. These seats are cloth, and I do hope that they do come as leather in maybe the range toppers, but I am quite happy with this, and I think that it looks really cool. So yeah, that's the front, and obviously where you guys want to be. There's a 10 speaker sound system in this car, guys, as well, and it sounds phenomenal. Like, just look at these storage bins. You've got one at the top here, you've got another one in the second row, you've got another one right here. So a lot of storage spaces, and I apologize that the unit is quite dated. The moment we've been on a road trip and we've been all over the Western Cape, and we are 6 people in the car, like I mentioned, and we're also comfortable, and it comes to obviously help in terms of all these storage spaces that we have. So that's the front, and obviously where you guys want to be is right here. You've got 3 seats over there, you've got other 3 seats over here, and obviously they all lay and they can maneuver in different styles. You can have obviously them facing each other in conversation style type of seating, but I prefer this seating because it's much more comfortable and your knees are not touching and it's not awkward. But there's a lot of room in here, guys. You've got vents at the top there, you've got vents at the top for these people who are sitting over here. Then you've got other vents here at the top here for the people who are sitting here. So a well thought out of people mover, guys, a well thought out of. And I think that the nice thing is that a lot of cup holders, a lot of USB ports, so you don't really have to stress about charging. Literally a really good interior. I do wish that it was leather seats and some automatic doors, but like I mentioned, this is the middle range, so hopefully the top of the range will have electrically operated doors, some niceties, just some leather seats. But otherwise it's at least also some electrically adjustable seats, because this doesn't have electrically adjustable seats. So this is powered by a 2-liter turbo diesel with an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and I think that it drives really well. It's got 100 kilowatts and 360 newton meters of torque. All that power is sent to the front wheels. It's quite low to the ground. It sticks to the to the tar, and we've driven a lot. And it's been an amazing experience. I've not had any issues. I've driven and not had any issues. And I've sat in the back. And usually when you sit in the back in these people movers, especially in the rear there, then you do feel, some bumps, etc. But it's taking everything with this chassis so gorgeous. And there isn't really any issues. And obviously I'll have more feedback for you guys when I sample it on tests for longer periods. But right now, first impressions, I'm really impressed. I think that Ford has done an amazing job. So yeah, guys, that is it. That is the Ford Tourneo. And those are my first impressions. And I do think that it's a really, really comfortable, practical people mover. A little birdie told me that it's going to be 999,000 Rand, 200. So let's just keep our eyes locked, but I do think that it should do well. It's most likely going to do well than the Opel Zafira, which we hardly see on the roads. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next, and keep it locked on the channel. Thank you for 5,000 subscribers, and till the next one, keep it safe, and always remember, keep left and pass right.